Today, we continue to study New Testament Greek grammar, demonstrative adjective. As we see on our textbook here, the demonstrative adjectives are these, that, these, those. They are used to pointing out specific people or things. We are studying the third one, which is the John chapter 6, verse 29. And then here talking about tuto esti to ergon tu deo. This is the work of the God. The reason why Jesus is saying in this way, so we need to go to the chapter 6 and find out what is going on. When we go to the John chapter 6, chapter 6 verse 1, after these things Jesus went over the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias. Then a great multitude followed Jesus because they saw his sign, which he performed on those who were diseased. So here talking about the sign, we study about the sign, and sign is Christos Jesus himself. And during his ministry, it could be perform his miracles, some to those disease or something, curing and healing, and then preaching and teaching. All those things is the one he wants to show the sign, that is himself. Then about the sign, we already learned many things, many places. And then sign itself is Christos Jesus. And then Jesus went up on the mountain. There he sat on with the disciple. And the reason why he set it on his disciple is, and then the verse 5 says, Jesus lifted up his eyes, seeing a great multitude coming towards him. He said to Philip, where shall we buy bread that these may eat? The reason why he said that is, but this he said to test of Philip. Test of Philip. So when you see the test on the right side, 헤이라존, which is the verb participle present, which is a testing. So he wants to testing the Philip, see how he understand the sign that he's about to show. And then the Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread is not sufficient for them. Every one of them may have a little. When we coming down verse 9, there is the lad here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish. So using the 5 barley loaves and small fish, Jesus is showing the sign. When we coming down, and then once he do that sign, they had seen the sign, the multitude, and Jesus said and say, this is truly the prophet who is to come into the world. That's what multitude is talking about by seeing that sign. Therefore, when Jesus perceived they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, he departed again to the mountain by himself alone. So the sign Jesus is showing to Philip and his disciple and the multitude, and the sign, those multitude is understood, and at the same time 12 disciple is totally different understanding. That's why Jesus was hide himself, and then they were looking for the Jesus on the other side of the sea. So on the following day, when the people who were standing the other side of the sea, and then we coming down, when they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to Jesus, Rabbi, when did you come here? And then Jesus answered them and said, most assuredly I say to you, you seek me, not because you saw the sign, but because you ate of the loaves and were filled. So understanding the sign is totally different in this way. So Jesus is talking, do not labor for the food which perishes, The sign Jesus was showing to them is the one, the food that does not perish, which is for the food which endures to everlasting life, which the Son of Man will give you, because God the Father has set his seal on him. They said to him, what shall we do that we may work the work of God? And then 29 is the one we are learning as the demonstrative adjective. And then English say, Jesus answered, said to them, this is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he sent. And then here Jesus is talking the I am the living bread, all those things is coming in the later. Okay. I am the bread of life. And then I am the living bread, because he himself is the sign, he himself is the living bread. So go back to our practice verse here, 29. When we're looking at it, 앞에 그릴 때 호 예수스, the Jesus answered and said to his living. tuto, that's the APD. This is the work of the God. The work of the God, in order that, so that your living, second person plural, BSP. So it is not you believe, right? It is not you believe. This is a subjunction, VSP, VSPA, verb subjunction. Subjunction is the condition clause. Subjunction is the possibility. It can be happen or it cannot be happen. That's why it is the subjunction. And then P stands for the present. So subjunction present is the one, the thing happening for the future, right? What about we learn subjunction AA, which is a past tense subjunction. Things happening now, which is the present. So this one, believe, so we have to use the subjunction present, which we are using the may. Subjunction past, we are using the might. So correct translation is the second person plural, which is your living. Plural is the living. May. It cannot be happen or not in the future. May believe. Very important part, this one. What the meaning is, things happening in future means, are they believing now or not? They do not believe it. They do not believe. They just looking for the sign that fills their stomach, their physical life. So subjunction present is your living may believe in the future. And then ace is not on, right? Ace is not in. So King James translate on, New King James translate in, but ace is the into. When ace is using as the number, that means one. So the preposition accusative, which is a purpose and the goal. Purpose and goal is to become one. Action. One whom. Whom is the seventh-day man. Whom is the Christos Jesus. And then 대원. 대원 is the God. God sent. God sent Christos Jesus. So your living may believe, because you are not believe right now. Your living may believe to become one Christos Jesus. So when you become one Christos Jesus, then you will be in Christos Jesus in the seventh day, right? Sixth day is the day you are believing into Christos Jesus. But you do not believe right now. because you are laboring, working, perishable food. Then you are the fifth day, right? When we're talking about the believing process, we categorize 4 different ways, right? Number 1, believe. Believe Christos Jesus, believe God. Number 2 stage, believe on Christos Jesus, God. On is the connection, knowing the direction. Number 3 is the into, which is right now, into. Two become one. Motion and action. On does not have a motion and action. You just connecting the Christos Jesus and God. Number 4 is the in, which is a final status. You are seated in, become one already, Christos Jesus and the God. The multitude is number 1 here. The disciple is number 2 and number 3. And then when they become one in Christos Jesus through crucifixion and resurrect together, they will be in the number 4. They will believe in Christos Jesus. So in order for me to be in Christos Jesus and the God, which means in order for me to become the living bread, seventh-day man is the living bread. So I am able to give this food to anybody, everybody, he who is willing to accept. Then they possess the everlasting life. They become the kingdom of the heavens. They call the kingdom of the God, which is the children of the God. In order for me to become the living bread, which is the seventh-day man who is in Christos Jesus, God working from the beginning. This is the work of the God. So God is working until I believe into Christos Jesus. And then Son is working inside me when I'm in Christos Jesus. Then I am able to giving the living bread, body of the Christos. So with that understanding, we study from the Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 through Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 and 27. And then we were in the middle of the Genesis chapter 1 verse 28, which is the 6th day. 6th day is the day, like I say, believe on Christos Jesus and God, and believe into Christos Jesus and God. So I become the believe in Christos Jesus 7th day. So 6th day, our processing still on Christos Jesus and God into Christos Jesus. That's where we are. After we finish to study Genesis chapter 1, 6 days, we are going to study 7th day, which covers Genesis chapter 2, verse 1 through 3. There is a 7th day. Then my status is, I become the living bread. I am in Christos Jesus at the time. So we are in the believe on. We are in the believe into right now. So as a continuation from the last class, let's go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. And then English is talking, then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. And we are looking at the Hebrew text, Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. And then until the last class, we study about the fish of the sea, right? And then kabashi, we translate subdue. Subdue what? Et haaretz. Beginning the earth, complete the earth, which is a new earth, subdue, right? And then rada is a tread down, which is the dominion and rule, fish of the sea. And then last class, we studied a little bit about the bird. So, upeop, and bird of the heaven. It is not the air, right? Ha shamaim. Ha is the definite article, which is the shamaim is the heaven, which is the dual form, right? Then English translate of the air is the totally incorrect translation. Bird of the heaven. So not only we tread down the fish of the sea, but also we tread down the bird of the heaven. About the bird we study when we study about fifth day process, the bird is getting increased, which is the evil one, wicked one is increasing in the fifth day by receiving the knowledge from the bird and the serpent. So in the word study until the last class, we study about the Matthew and the Mark, which is the bird is the evil one. Bird living is the Satan. And bird is the one covered with wings. That's why they are delivering the darkness, which is not the knowledge of the God. And they call the Elohim. We already studied about that. So today, until the fifth day, I am in the prison of the bird, which is unclean bird. They are in the Babylon. So let's go to start with the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 1 through 2. This is the seventh spore process. So when seventh trumpet is sounded, which is the gospel of peace, at the same time, when I hear that, the seventh trumpet, then seventh spore is happening inside me. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 1. Which is the sixth day, we have to tread down, dominion this bird, and this Babylon, right? After these things, I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was illuminated with his glory. So, messenger, angelos, coming down, katabaino, BPP, right? Continuously, habitually, repeatedly coming down. Ek to urano, out of the heaven. It is not the dual heaven. Dual heaven only exists one day through the fifth day, which is in my Old Testament time. And 6th to 7th day, which is a New Testament, it only shows the plural heaven and the singular heaven. So this is the singular heaven. So singular heaven, messenger coming down, having authority, exercise authority. So New King James do better job than the King James Bible here. So BPP, continuously, habitually, repeatedly having the great authority. Great authority. And the earth was lightened. Because of the angelos bring the gospel of peace, gospel of eternal life. Out of his glory. Whose glory? Messenger's glory, who's delivering the truth of the God, knowledge of the God, right? And then who are these messenger? This is the sixth day we are tread down and subdue, right? In the sixth day, Christos Jesus, who is the second Adam, is make, right? We already went to the Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. There is a para Adam and asa Adam, right? 26 is a asa Adam. 26 asa Adam is the second Adam, which is a make do Adam. And then 27 Adam is the first Adam through the last Adam, right? So the messenger having the great authority is the asa Adam, which is a 126, Christos Jesus. Because two heavens becomes one heaven, so Christos Jesus seated on my throne. Two thrones, two heavens becomes one throne, one heaven, and Christos is sitting in my throne with great authority, right? When we go to the Matthew chapter 28, Jesus said that. Jesus came and spoke to them saying, all authority, great authority has been given to me in heaven, on earth. Great authority. That messenger is the Christos Jesus. Genesis 1:26, asa Adam. Not only 18:1 is talking messenger coming from heaven having great authority, and same thing showing when we go to book of Revelation chapter 10. I saw still another mighty angel coming down where? From heaven. Same thing. Book of Revelation chapter 18, right? Close with a cloud. So this mighty angel, Christos Jesus, 7 days son of the human being, son of the man, coming down from heaven, because crucified together, resurrect together, went to the heaven. What heaven? My heaven, right? Whenever we say heaven and earth, where heaven and earth exist, we have to keep in mind all things is talking about my spiritual process, my mental process, my knowledge process that is happening inside me. So he's coming down from heaven close with a cloud. This cloud is the faithful witness. We already learned that, right? We went to the Hebrew chapter 12. Therefore, we also, since we are surrounded by so great cloud of witness, who is by faith Abel, by faith Enoch, all those cloud of witnesses. Go back to book of Revelation chapter 10. Close with the cloud, rainbow was on his head, right? Which is an everlasting covenant they show in the days of Noah. His face was like the sun. Sun is the bridegroom, who is the Christos Jesus. We went to Psalm chapter 19. His feet like a pillar of fire. He had a little book open in his hand. He set his right foot on the sea, his left foot on the earth. They translate land, but this is the Ge. Ge is the land, right? So Christos Jesus, close with the cloud, he's coming down from heaven, right? So from my heaven, Christos Jesus seated on my throne, okay, coming down to the earth. And then we go through what? Earthly war, right? Heavenly war is what? The Father, the Word, and the Holy Spirit, right? First John chapter 5, verse 6, 7, 8, we are talking. The earth is what? Spirit, water, and blood, right? Three witnesses in the heaven, three witnesses in the earth. So he is standing where? Sea and the what? Earth. So one day through the 7th day process, second day, 1 day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, and seventh day. So on 1 day through the fifth day, we are under the sea. Worldly knowledge, earthly knowledge. We separate from the sea, get on the dry land on the sixth day. So Christos Jesus, 1 foot on the sea, 1 foot on the earth, which is the 1 day through the fifth day, 6 to 7 day. He is in the middle because he is the what? He's the mediator, right? To give us the knowledge, to give us the salvation. And he has a little book. Little book is the neuter book. If you look at right side, Biblia Radion, neuter book, which is a mediator book. He set his right foot on the sea, his left foot on the earth. Cry with a loud voice as when a lion roars. Roaring lion is the Satan and serpent. And then Christos Jesus is the lion, comes from the tribe of Judah. When we go to the Genesis chapter 49, right? When he cried out, seven thunder uttered their voice. When the seven thunder uttered their voices, I was about to write, but I heard a voice from the heaven saying to me, seal up the things which the seven thunder utter, do not write them. Not yet. Because it is in the middle of the fifth day to the sixth day. The messenger whom I saw standing on the sea, on the earth, raised up his hand to heaven and swore by him who lives forever and ever, who created the heaven and the things that are in it, the earth and the things that are in it, the sea and the things that are in it, there should be delay no longer. And sixth day is about to open by sounding the seventh trumpet. That's what it says, 7, verse 7. In the days of sounding of the seventh angel, when he about to sound, mystery of God, mystery of God, mystery of Christos, which is the Emmanuel that we learn. We understand, we aware God is combined, joined in my life. We didn't know until the fifth day, but when we hear the seventh messenger, seventh trumpet, the mystery of God, by having the neuter book, that would be finished. He declared to his servant, the prophet, what is the mystery of God, mystery of Christos? Born of Jesus, crucifixion of Jesus, resurrection of Jesus, presence of Jesus. It is not the historical things. That's why it was hidden and covered until we hear the seventh trumpet from the seventh messenger, seventh-day man, Christos Jesus. It happening in my life. If you do not know the sound of the trumpet, the mystery of God is not manifest to your life, you are not in the sixth day yet. But whoever hear from Stauros Bible Academy in this video, when you hear it, you are hearing the sounding of the seventh trumpet. You understand the mystery of God. Then the voice which I heard from heaven spoke to me and said, go take the little book. Which means, heaven, open your ear, the earth, hear the word of the God. By taking the little book, neuter book, which is open in the hand of the messenger who stand on the sea, on the earth. So I went to the messenger, said to him, give me the little book. He said to me, take and eat it. Watching the Stauros Bible Academy, all classes, take, eat it, digest it. So you will become the living bread. You will understand the sign. It will make your stomach bitter because you need to spend some time to digest. And by believing the truth of the God, you need to live by the word of God, right? It will be as sweet as honey in your mouth because new knowledge, new wisdom you are receiving, it is sweet, but it will make your stomach bitter. Then I took the little book out of the messenger's hand and ate it. It was as sweet as honey in my mouth, but when I had eaten it, my stomach became bitter. And he said to me, you must prophesy again about many people, nation, tongues, and the king. Without eating the neural book, without taking your mouth and your stomach bitter, you are not able to prophesy again. Until you eat this little book, until you hear the seventh messenger, the sound of the trumpet, until you understand the mystery of God. When we go to the 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it says, we know in part, we prophesy in part until fifth day, until I ate the little book, until I received the seventh messenger's trumpet, until I understand the mystery of the God and Christos. Those things all happening in my life, in my spiritual growing process. But until the fifth day, we know in part, prophecy in part, when that which is perfect has come. When I hear the seventh trumpet, when I understand the mystery of God, when I eat the little book, then perfect is come. The which in part will be done away. When I was a child, until the fifth day, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. That is one, know in part, prophecy in part. But when I become a man, perfect man, seventh day man, believe in Christos Jesus, I put away childish things. That is the book of Revelation chapter 10 is talking same as sixth seal is open and seven bowl is happening inside me. And book of Revelation 18, then messenger coming down from heaven. Same thing. When I eat that little book, which is a neural book, then my earth is lightened. Illuminated was lightened out of his glory. Ektes auto. Out of his glory, the earth was lightened. Because I just eat the neural book, my earth, which is my belief in my heart, is lightened. So my earth is not darkness anymore by eating the neural book. By understanding the mystery of God, by hearing the seventh trumpet, fully understanding the God combined to my living, Emmanuel. That is the sixth day, right? Then he cried mighty with a loud voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, has become a dwelling place of demons, prison for every foul spirit, and the cage for every unclean, hated bird. We need to fix some minor translation problem here. And he cried out. Who? A messenger coming from heaven, seventh day man, having the great authority. And the earth was lightened out of his glory, right? So he cried out in great, mighty voice, saying, Fallen, fallen, Babylon, the great Babylon. And Babylon became habitation of demon living. And Pulake is the prison. So New King James Bible doing the good job. But King James Bible does not doing good job. They put the hold. Pulake is the prison. So give a good job to the New King James translator. I check on the internet how many people participate to translate the New King James Bible. The AI show that 130 scholar, and there says it takes 7 years. So 140 scholar working together to complete the entire Old Testament, New Testament Bible, 7 years. But as you may know, I am translating by myself, making the Stauros Bible. If you go to my blog, I am translating every single day from the Greek text into American English and Korean, because Korean is my first language. It took me so far 8 years. I'm in the Act chapter 7 today. That's where I am. New Testament Act is the last book. Because I start with from the Romans to the Revelation is complete, and then go back to the Matthew. I finish until John. Now I'm in the Act. So it took me 8 years. I'm not complete the New Testament yet. So 140 people, 7 years. So I am the only one person who's doing that translation right now. It will take longer than what they do, because 140 people doing that, right? But anyhow, it is the prison. It is not the hold, okay? So 뷰라케, 판토스, 푸뉴마토스, 아카르톤, which is unclean. Aka르tos is unclean. Unclean. So every unclean spirit. Prison of every unclean spirit. Where? Babylon, Babylon. Babylon. Then what is the Babylon? Let's go to the dictionary, 897. So Babylon. Babylon comes from the Hebrew origin. 894, which is the Babel. Babel means the confusion. And then this one also from 1101, overflow, mixed. So it is the mixed knowledge, mingle, confuse, confound. So I define the Babylon, mixed knowledge, confused knowledge. That's the Babylon. So God's knowledge mixed with the man's lesson. That's why fifth day, in the times of Jesus in the Bible, Pharisees, Sadducees, scribe, high priest, all those leader of the Jews, they are sitting in the Moses seat, and they are teaching the God's commandment as the what? Man's lesson, morality book. They are traditional book. They are cultural book. The Bible shouldn't understand in that way. God is the spirit. Morality standard is the all different, depends on where you live. Even law is different. Constitution of the United States different from the Constitution of South Korea, Constitution of the Japan, Constitution of the Germany. Morality is all different. Depends on race, depends on country, depends on the culture. So Bible is not morality book. But they are in the Babylon. Mixed knowledge, confused knowledge. That's why Babylon throw into the sea. Eventually, right? Because that's where the Babylon came from. Sea is what? One day through the fifth day, this is the sea. So we throw away Babylon to the sea when I have a full understanding, when I'm in the dry land, the dry earth. So mixed knowledge, confused knowledge is the prison. Every unclean spirit. Kai and 뷰라케, 판토스, 오르네온, 아카타르투, kai, 메미스메노. So not only the prison of the or unclean spirit, and also prison, same thing. It's not the cage. Okay. So New King James doing not so good job here. Okay. I don't know who translate one of the 140 people, but they put the prison here. Why not put the prison here also? Whether he understand or not, because it is the same word. You see here, pyrlake, 5438, 5438. Come on, translator. So prison of every unclean bird. This bird lives in the Babylon, prison of a bird. Hated bird, unclean bird. This woman seated in this Babylon, seated in the bird, seated in the beast. When we go to, this is 18, when we come back to chapter 17, verse 1, then one of the 7 messengers who had 7 bowls came and talked with me, saying to me, come, I will show you the judgment of great harlot, who sit on many water, many different knowledge. Knowledge and thought is the water, right? Great harlot, the woman, the prostitution, she's sitting on there. Babylon, with whom the king of the earth committed fornication. And the inhabitants of the earth were made drunk with the wine of her fornication. He carried me away in the spirit into wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast. So this woman is the woman. This woman is the great harlot. And this woman sitting on the beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and precious stone and pearls, having in her hand golden cup full of abomination and the filthiness of her fornication. On her forehead, name was written, Mystery Babylon the Great, Mother of Harlot, and the abominations of the earth. So she is sitting on the beast. She's the mother of harlot. And then she has the many knowledge and many thought. That's why this is the 17. When we go back to chapter 16, go down to verse 13. The 6th messenger poured out his bowl, which is my 6th day. Right here, 6th day, right? Sea transformed to the dry land here. Great river Euphrates, water is dry up, which is the sea is dry up. Babylon is drying up, so that the way of king from east might be prepared. I saw 3 unclean spirits. Babylon is the prison of the unclean spirit, right? Babylon is the prison of the unclean bird. It's like a frog. So frog lives in the sea, in the water. Frog lives on the dry land. So frog is the one mix the sea with the earth knowledge. Okay, so all those knowledge is mixed with it together. That is a Babylon, mixed knowledge. So confused knowledge. That is the frog coming out of the mouth of dragon, out of the mouth of beast, out of the mouth of the false prophet. They are the spirit of demons. They are the Babylon. They are the Babylon. Who's giving the mixed knowledge? And go back to chapter 17. They, all inhabitants of the earth, people who is not sitting in the heaven together with Christos Jesus, they were made drunk with the wine of her fornication. And as I mentioned, they are the one in the time of Jesus, Pharisees, Sadducees, and scribes, and those leader of the Jews. But they are made drunk with the wine of her fornication. One of the example we can go is Luke chapter 5. Coming down, 5:37. So here is Jesus is talking about the fasting. And the disciple of John and the disciple of Pharisee is the fasting. And then they said, but why yours are eat and drink? And then he said to them, can you make the friends of the bridegroom? So here says friends, but this is the sons. You see here, Huios is the sons. English translate King James children, New King James friend, but it is the sons. Who is the 12 disciple? 12 disciple of the Christos Jesus fast while the bridegroom is with them. But the days will come when the bridegroom will be taken away from them. They will fast in those days. So they are distributing, giving the Eurobuk, which is the living bread that comes from the heaven. He spoke a parable to them. No one puts a piece from a new garment. So new garment is the knowledge of Christos Jesus. To an old one is the Pharisees, Sadducees, scribes, those leader of Jews, their teaching. Otherwise, the new makes a tear. Also, the piece that was taken out of the new does not match the old. Absolutely, right? One day through the fifth day knowledge totally does not match with the sixth and seventh day knowledge, right? No one puts new wine into old skin, or else the new wine will burst the wineskin and be spilled. The wineskin will be ruined. New knowledge has to put into the new wineskin, right? New wine must be put into new wineskin, and both are preserved. That's why Babylon, prison of the unclean bird, unclean spirit, has to fallen and fallen. And confused knowledge, mixed knowledge has to be stopped. Then until the fifth day, we are nothing but to drink from that wine, drink that from that knowledge. Then hearing the mouth of beast, mouth of dragon, mouth of the false prophet, right? So we went to the Isaiah chapter 28. They also have erred through wine and through intoxicating drink. Babylon are out of the way, not in the way, who is Christos Jesus. The priest and the prophet have erred. They are the leaders of the Jews. Mouth of dragon, mouth of beast, mouth of false prophet, through intoxicating drink. They are slow up by wine. They are out of the way through intoxicating drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. All tables are full of vomit and filth. No place is clean. Unclean bird, unclean spirit. Babylon. Whom will he teach knowledge? Whom will he make to understand the message? Those just weaned from milk. Those just drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. Here's a little, there's a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue, he will speak to those people. To whom he said, this is the rest with which you may cause the weary to rest. And this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear. And the word of the Lord was to them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. Here's a little, there's a little, that they might go and fall backward, intoxicating drink, be broken and snared and caught. Because they never have a chance to hear the seventh trumpet. They never has a chance to eating the Eurobuk. That is the Eurobuk. Another one is showing the Isaiah chapter 29. Next verse. This is 28. When we go 29, coming down to 11, the Lord has poured out on you the spirit of deep sleep until the fifth day. Has closed your eyes, namely the prophet. That's why prophets impart. He has covered your head, namely the seers. The whole vision has become to you like the words of the book that is sealed until you eat the little book, which man delivered to one who is literate, saying, read this please, and he say, I cannot, because it is sealed. Then the book is delivered to one who is illiterate, saying, read this please, and he say, I am not literate. Therefore, the Lord said, inasmuch as these people draw near with their mouth, and honor me with their lips, but have moved their heart far from me. They are not willing to accept, eat the nurable. Even though they are eating, their stomach is bitter, they cannot complete the process. Their fear towards me is taught by the commandment of man, mixed knowledge. About these people, when we go to the Isaiah chapter 56, coming down to verse 10, they are the watchmen. They are the shepherd. His watchmen are blind. They are all no knowledge of the God, ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Yes, they are greedy dogs, which never have enough. They are shepherds who cannot understand. They all look to their own way, not in the way of Christos Jesus. Everyone for his own gain, from his own territory. Come one say, I will bring wine. We will fill ourselves with intoxicating drink. Tomorrow will be as today and much more abundant. So they are in the prison until the fifth day. Prison, darkness, grave, dead living, right? We already learned that. That Babylon is fallen by eating the little book, hearing the seventh trumpet, understanding the mystery of God. So go back to the book of Revelation, chapter 18. So that wine of her fornication, right? So verse 4, I hear another voice from heaven saying, come out of her. Get out of her. Get out of the Babylon. Get out of the hearing the mouth of dragon, mouth of the serpent, mouth of the false prophet. Get out of her, my people. If you do not come out of Babylon, if you do not come out of the sea, if you still remaining on the fifth day and drinking the intoxicating wine and drink, then you will die together with the Babylon. You die with those shepherds, dumb dogs. So get out of her. Lest you share in her sins. Lest you receive of her plagues. That's why when we go to the Matthew chapter 24, and Jesus is talking, Jesus went out and departed from the temple, the building temple. His disciple came up to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said to the disciple, do you not see all these things? Assuredly I say to you, not one stone shall be left here upon another, shall not be thrown down. Look at the right side. Right side. Stone, right? On stone. 30, 37, 30, 37. This stone is a dumb dog, the shepherd. And this stone is the member of the shepherd. When Jesus is born, we went to the Luke chapter 2. Those shepherds, they are watching and guard the prison of the night, their flock. That's the stone on stone. They are on status. They are connecting with each other. This stone will not release this stone, okay? That's why will not thrown down. They will just remain there until you get out of the Babylon. If you try to come out of the prison, then in order for you to get out of the prison, you have to rebellion, Maria. You have to die in the prison by hearing the seventh trumpet, and then Jesus is born inside you. When we coming down verse 15, therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation, spoken by the Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountain. Okay, don't stay there. Okay, you have to get out. Get out. Get out of there. Go to the mountain. Mountain Christos Jesus. Let him who is in the house top not go down. Okay, get out of there. Take anything out of his house. Okay, live there. Every confused, mixed knowledge left there. Don't take anything from there. Okay. Let him who is in the field not go back to get his clothes. Okay. But all to those who are pregnant, to those who are nursing baby in those days, you should be already past this time. Jesus has to be born inside you. Okay. And pray that your flight may not be in winter or on the Sabbath. You become the Sabbath. Understanding the Sabbath means, right? Then there will be great tribulation. We already learned from the Daniel chapter 12. Michael, who's like God. And great earthquake when sixth seal is opened, book of Revelation chapter 6. That's the great tribulation by hearing the seventh trumpet, by eating the new book, by receiving the understanding the mystery of the God. Great tribulation. Such has not been since the beginning of the world, since your beginning of this world, until this time, no nor ever shall be. So if you don't get out of the Babylon, mixed knowledge, confused knowledge, prison of unclean spirit, prison of unclean bird, you will die together. You are not move on to the sixth day. Then you are not able to get into the seventh day, who is able to giving the everlasting bread, living bread. When I was in the Babylon, mixed knowledge, confused knowledge, that time is I was the infant, right? We just went there, 1 Corinthians chapter 13. We know in part, we prophesy in part. When that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part will be done away, right? When I was a child, look at the child is the nepios is infant. It's not child. It has to translate as the infant. Let's go to the dictionary, 35:16. Nepios is the whoever not speaking the truth of the God, who is the simple-minded person, immature Christian. He called the infant because ne is the negative particle, pios is the epo, word is the speak the word. So not able to speak the word, not able to speak the truth of the God. That is the nepios, which is the infant. When I was in the Babylon, confused knowledge, mixed knowledge. Not only here, so nepios, when we go to the Galatians chapter 4, verse 1, now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, the same thing, not the child, right side here, nepios, infant, immature Christian, not speaking the truth of the God. That's not different at all from a slave. You are slavery of the sin. though he is master of all, but is under guardians and steward until the time appointed by the Father. This guardians and steward is the one teaching the God's commandment as the man's lesson. Who has the mouth of dragon, mouth of serpent, mouth of the false prophet? Even so, my living, when I was the Nepios, we were in bondage under the elements of the world. Elements of the world, Greek word is the stoikeia. Stoikeia. Then what is the stoikeia? When we go to the Colossians chapter 2, 8, beware, verse 8, beware lest anyone cheat you through philosophy and empty deceit, according to the tradition of man, not the God's commandment. Any man-made wisdom philosophy, according to the basic principle of the world. This is the stoikeia. Right here, stoikeion. And King James translate rudiment, not according to Christ. So those are the religious precepts and teachings of the human being living. Fundamental principle of the world. We have to conquer the man's wisdom. We have to conquer empty deceit. We have to tread down the tradition of man, understanding the Bible as the man's lesson, man's culture, man's morality. That has to be tread down. Go back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. Now we know what is the meaning of the dominion, tread down the bird of the heaven. Next class, we are going to complete the next part to finish the Genesis chapter 1, verse 28.